Hello everyone, my guest for the episode is Yasmin. Yasmin is an experienced Jiu Jitsu athlete. She has an experience of more than 20 years. At a point in time, she was the #1 female Jiu Jitsu athlete in Europe. Today, she's going to be talking to us about the paradox of choice and decision making, in addition to the importance of stress management and how does she manage her stress in life, and what are her advices for others to how to manage stress in life and the external factors. She's going to be talking about the female cycle and the understanding of, she's going to teach us about the hormonal balances in women. She's going to be talking about the consequences of overriding the natural systems of the body, from the circadian rhythm on a daily basis to the circadian rhythm on a seasonally basis. This was a very fun conversation. I hope you enjoy it. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you very much. Me to you. So, who are you? Tell me about yourself.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Yasmin, and I was born in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. Originally, my parents, they're from Suriname, a very tiny country in South America next to Brazil.
What's it called? It's the first time that I hear about it.
It is called Suriname, and don't worry about it, because as a matter of fact, a lot of the Brazilians themselves, they never heard of Suriname, while it is their neighboring country.
Well, then you can't blame me for not knowing it.
Exactly.
On this part of the world. Okay.
Yeah. But my origins are Indian, though. But I was the first generation born and raised in Amsterdam. So Suriname used to be a former Dutch colony. And in 1975, when Suriname became independent, this is where the Suriname residents had the opportunity to get a Dutch passport.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they were able to get the Dutch passport, all of the Suriname, let's say, society.
Yeah, if they decided to move to the Netherlands, they could apply for that.
So when did your parents go to the Netherlands?
So this was end of the 70s, begin 80s. And I was born begin 80s.
All right, super. So Yasmin, so what can you tell me about yourself? Like, I got to know now, like, where are you from? Like, so who are you in the daily life?
Yeah. So at this moment, I work as a Jiu Jitsu coach here in Abu Dhabi for nearly 9 years. I've been practicing Jiu Jitsu for nearly 20 years.
Oh.
So it has been like half of my life, part of my journey. And further, I am a mom. I have a daughter. So
what's her name?
Her name is Noura.
Noura. It's an Arabic name, actually. It is an Arabic name.
Yes, absolutely. And the thing is, I was inspired by one of my first students in Jiu Jitsu here in the UAE.
Oh.
And her name is Noura. And she's very polite, very kind and humble. And I just hope, like, oh, I wish my daughter would be like that.
Like you.
Yes, exactly. And besides that, I find Noura a very powerful name. It is short and powerful, and it is a beautiful meaning, because it means light, and she's literally my light.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yes.
That's super nice.
Yeah.
How old is she?
She's 7.
So that's a really nice age, like, for them to be in.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So the Jiu Jitsu, what got you into Jiu Jitsu? Like, why Jiu Jitsu and not something else?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the thing is, I was never really into sports. This is the first thing that you need to know.
Well, that's such a conundrum, but okay.
So where that switch, right?
Yeah.
So it was actually my sister who got me into sports. She used to watch always these Bruce Lee movies together with her former boyfriend. And yeah, she was the one who always tried to get me into new type of activities. And in the beginning, she said, or she told me, like, okay, let's try fitness and going to the gym. And I was like, really, why do we need to go to the gym? Like, I thought like I would be, I was already like fit, you know, by just dancing all night long at parties in the Netherlands,
Like
right?
this is how you get fit. Like you dance all night long.
Exactly. So what else? Actually, when I entered for the first time the gym and I hit the treadmill, I was like, oh, this is really hard. I faced actually that my stamina was not that good.
So maybe dancing doesn't do the job.
Yeah, well, maybe not the way how I did it, because it was dancing during the night, right? I mean, like, you have dancers, professional dancers, and all the respect, they are the greatest artists ever. So, but anyways, I tried sports. I started with fitness, and I really got hooked into the early fitness culture. But my sister, you know, she's always full of new ideas. So at some point she was saying, no, we need to do like kickboxing. Now, kickboxing is very popular in the Netherlands.
I see.
And we wanted to try a lesson, though the lesson, it was already fully booked, so we tried karate. Now, I did my first karate class. And the moment that I had my first experience with karate, I felt so empowered. I was like, wow, I felt great.
Yeah.
So I continued with some of the martial arts. And the thing is, my fitness trainer, he knew, though, that I was still interested in kickboxing. So he is the one who introduced me to this guy who was playing kickboxing. But this guy, on his turn, was completely obsessed with Jiu Jitsu.
Oh, okay.
Imagine you meet this guy and then he suddenly starts to say like, oh, you have to see this guy, Hickson Gracie, and if you see this video, Hickson Gracie, and if you see this video, you will fall in love with him. So imagine you meet a person because you think you're gonna learn kickboxing.
Something from him, yeah.
And then he starts to speak about another guy and telling me that I will fall in love.
Like fall in love with this guy, like,
because he was so passionate about jiu-jitsu. And I agreed to try a jiu-jitsu lesson and of course a kickbox lesson as well. And this is how I got into jiu-jitsu, because the moment that I actually tried and kickboxing and jiu-jitsu, I said bye to karate because this was the real deal. This was the real stuff. I was like, now we're
not
talking.
Not even in the picture anymore. Please step aside.
Yeah, exactly. So this is actually where my journey in jiu-jitsu starts. And I stopped actually, not immediately, but I start to pay more attention and start to put more time into the martial arts rather than the fitness. And it is actually a very good thing. Because in those times, I tend to be very intense and I get like really passionate. Some people would say like obsessed, you know. And if I would have been like very obsessed back then as a 19-year-old girl, for example, with just fitness, it would not have been helpful for my mental health.
Also.
Because it is very focused on yourself. When I go to the gym, and especially back then, like now, when I go now to the gym, is a very different approach.
I see.
But when I used to go to the gym back then, I was social. I have a goal, I have a mission, and I'm really focused on the results. So you are just you're not so social. And I think with jiu-jitsu or with martial arts, at least you get the chance, you get the opportunity to develop your own, still that competitive element, or still that, no. You still get the opportunity to perform, but in a social context.
I see.
Team.
So let's say you keep the social circle, you keep the social life aspect of living. Beside, let's say, doing a sport or doing a martial art or doing some kind of a fitness training, let's say, in a sense. You
get to deal with a lot of different people. You're playing, you're actually engaging with others. And this is important. And the beauty of jiu-jitsu is not just the physical aspect or the mental aspect. This is also the social aspect. And, you know, because jiu-jitsu It is full body contact. There is skin to skin touch.
Contact.
It is a very primal, original, like rough type of play. And this is where we are wired actually for.
Very true.
And it is a lost language. And it is something actually that is very crucial to learn, especially now we are getting in more and more isolated society.
Very true. Like, how do you see, let's say, like, how far are we from our primal instincts, as you mentioned? Like, because nowadays when you look at it, like, although we think that we are connected, although we think that we know some people, or let's say a big number of people on social media and so on, however, in real life, like, the rates of depression, the rates of anxiety are skyrocketing.
Right.
Which is, from my understanding, is because we are not, let's say, linked as before. Like, we are not into this face-to-face interactions. These social circuits are not as, let's say, are not as close as back then. So what do you think, like how did, let's say, Jiu Jitsu shape you in a way to keep your social and, let's say, how shall I put it? Like, to keep your social aspect of life going on?
Well, the thing is, your teammates, your team becomes your social life. You know, the bond that you create with your teammates, it's something different. It is a very different type of connection, because you are playing with each other, you're fighting with each other, you're cheering for each other, you're going through hardship with each other, and you're physically playing. You are on so many different levels. You are connected, mentally, socially, physically, and you are. It's actually a complete
experience. Let's say
exactly.
It's like a complete experience of getting in touch with our roots, with our, let's say, how humans used to interact, like when they used to fight, and how they used to tackle. Because, as you said, like, jiu-jitsu is a very primal sport. Like,
and our body is designed to do jiu-jitsu, or it's the other way around. As you wish.
Like,
you know, can you see?
Okay, perfect. Yeah, go the chicken, whatever you want. But
exactly. But you can see in our body, we are designed to move. And jiu-jitsu is a medium that we can do all those type of movements with each other. And all your joints get the chance to move in all certain ways. And you learn how to work with your body in an incredible way.
I see. So, Jiu-Jitsu, you started training. So why did you, like, how life take you in Jiu-Jitsu as a career? Like, why not some other way in life? Why not some other road in life?
Yeah.
Because usually, like, the road of fitness, for it to become, like, especially back then, like, not a lot of people used to think that, hey, like, you can have some money out of training. So it used to be like a different perspective back then.
Very good question. So when I started with martial arts, as I mentioned before, I did not only do jiu-jitsu, I also started training kickboxing. Not only that, I actually get also into MMA. Why? Because it so happened that a few guys in this suburb of Amsterdam, it is called Weesp, were practicing actually MMA.
I see.
So, and they were doing all this training. So this was my social influence, right? So, and also, I just thought MMA, it is the ultimate form of fighting, isn't it? So I wanted that. So I started doing grappling, MMA, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, boxing, all these martial arts.
I see.
Then 1 year later, I actually went as a white belt. I went to Brazil to enhance my grappling skills, specifically to improve my MMA. When I arrived in Brazil, it's actually where I started to learn the appreciation for the kimono, for the gi.
Yes.
And the lifestyle. Great. Now, this doesn't mean that now I say bye-bye to all the other martial arts. No. I came back. I continued with all the several disciplines, and I went back to Brazil. This time I went for 6 months. The first 2 months I was training mostly with the gi, and I did the championship. I lost, and I just felt that itch that I wanted to do boxing. I was, after all this training with the gi, I wanted to punch.
Yeah, I needed some punching, like no more grappling, please.
Exactly.
I need to punch a bag or a human.
And then there was this guy, and he introduced me to this small gym in Rio de Janeiro, and this was actually a Muay Thai gym. And then the trainer, Artur Mariano, he said like, I like your style. You want to fight MMA, And I was like, yep, that is on my bucket list, right?
Let me check. Oh yeah, that's it. It's one of them.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, let me extend my stay here in Brazil. I extended for, a couple of months. And this was a very challenging moment because now I am in Brazil, the country of the premium jiu-jitsu, right? And me coming from the Netherlands, the country specialized in kickboxing, going to a small gym to train literally like Muay Thai and MMA. Shouldn't I just go to Novo Liao, where they have the best jiu-jitsu, and do that? So I started thinking, and I said, you know what? I really want to have this experience of fighting MMA. And this gym also, it will be a good experience because why? It is a small team, so you will get a lot of attention. I would get like good lessons.
So you'd be able, let's say, to shine in between them, you mean?
Yeah, it would be a good opportunity. I decided to go for that. So I trained 4 months, MMA, hardcore, because Artur Mariano, he is actually known that he had this Valetudo fight with Vanderlei Silva, like, crazy stuff. And the conditioning, it was insane. We trained hard. I still did jiu-jitsu training. I used to go then, I went to De La Riva over there. And okay, train. And I have my first professional MMA fight actually in 2006 against the Brazilian champion who just finalized
like
everyone.
No pressure, not just the champion. Like
just the Brazilian national champion who finalized like everyone like within like 2 minutes. So I went to Sao Paulo, did this fight. I lost. Though it was not on KO or submission. No, I was still like, it was on point. Okay?
I'm doing my thing. Like I'm doing my thing.
So actually this was amazing. And that led to an invitation to have an MMA fight in Japan. Now, okay, I went back to the Netherlands, trained wrestling, kickboxing, etc., etc. And then I have another teammate, and he invites me and say like, oh, let's go to the European Championship of Jiu-Jitsu in Portugal. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, let's go.
Let's do that.
I go to this IBJJF European Championship as a blue belt, and I won. So this is amazing. It's my first title for the IBJJF. And the date is set for the fight in Japan, April 30, 2007.
You should remember it.
Yes, because I will come back at this. This is crucial. This is very crucial.
This is a very crucial
the
date.
Date is a crucial
remember
date.
it.
And about to book the flights, etc., and the fight got cancelled.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard from Master De La Riva that this was due to the fact that I won actually the title for in Jiu-Jitsu and how it works in MMA management.
Okay.
At least back then, it's like you want to match the fighters. So now the Japanese manager most likely thought like, okay, her grappling skills are now too high for my fighter. So that it's not like a good match.
It's not, let's say, like a good combination of skills, let's say, back then to bring for the competition, you mean?
Yeah, for it's it's too big of a threat, I would say, like, now there's a higher chance that I could win because she just won this title. So it got canceled. But imagine, because you asked me also this question, related like career and money, etc., etc.
Yes.
So the thing is, okay, you come back from Brazil. There is no money in jiu-jitsu. There's no money in anything that I'm doing. This is just pure out of passion and drive and ambition, and you just want to do it. There's also not like it's not an organized sport either. So yeah, so basically I'm paying myself to do the training and to I'm not making money the moment that I'm training, right?
Yeah, because I was actually wondering, like, through all that time, like, how were you able to support yourself through this time? Like,
I hustled.
Yes. I was like, okay, she's traveling, going in and back in, and fights and competitions. Like, how is she paying for all that?
I hustled like a fighter.
Yeah. Well, that's a good way to say it.
No, I did. I would take these small jobs, temporary jobs, make some money, save some money. I get a little bit of money though from my parents. When I was in Brazil, I got a little bit of a sponsorship in the sense that, okay, I would get the lunch, for example. So at least lunch was covered.
That's covered.
I didn't have to pay for the training also.
Oh, that's another thing.
Yes, you see? These
so
are
now we have one meal, we have free gym. That's
and
good.
I lived on like eggs and acai protein powder and just 2 slices of bread. I mean, I was tiny, so you don't need too much, right? Just simple stuff. Living like a training, just hustle
It's a tough life, by the way. Like, because a lot of people want to, for example, they have this dream, like they want to pursue this thing, they want to follow this passion that they have. But because of living a tough life, because life does not support such kind of a living, so some of them, they have to drop this dream and just give up on it, or some of you have to pursue it, just like what you were doing, like working with whatever you have at hand to just make it happen.
No, so the thing is, what helped was that I was young and not as aware.
Like I was young and naive, and I'm just doing it. Let's do it.
Yeah, of course. This is the beauty of your 20s.
Yes.
Enjoy that you're not that aware and you just go for it. Don't think about all those risks, And another thing is, when you are very passionate, it also makes decision making very easy because you know what you want and you don't know much about the rest of the world. You just follow through. This is very handy,
Like to a certain extent.
Yes.
Like sometimes to a certain extent, it can be like extremely handy and it can like put you on top of the world like someday. But getting there is a very tough ride in real life.
Yes, and so hence it is a good thing to do this in your 20s or when you're younger. And I always knew that the older I will get, the more responsibilities I will have. So I knew I have to do it now. And besides that, let's summarize. I still didn't have that much awareness. And I was very, very much in love because as I didn't have this athletic background, and then suddenly you get introduced in the world of sports at the age of 19, this is so powerful because you start to feel the magic from sports, from your body. You start to feel the self-confidence, endorphins. You're all the time you're high on your own supply, so good stuff. And the challenge, because I was looking for challenge and I wanted to compete. This is another reason, by the way, why I choose Jiu-Jitsu. Another reason because
to compete.
So let me finish that story. So that fight got canceled, and I was very disappointed. Very disappointed. Imagine you're training 4 months, and now what? You are dependent on these managers, and I didn't like that. So now is the time that I make the decision to focus on Jiu-Jitsu. Why? Because I can be independent. I'm now the one in control. I can now decide which competitions I'm going to do.
I see.
And I can go anywhere. Plus, there was still so much challenge in Jiu-Jitsu. Plus, I like the lifestyle. Plus, I like the culture. I didn't expect that when I would visit Brazil that I would love this country, by the way. I purely just wanted to improve my grappling skills. I wasn't interested, where everybody's saying, Brazil's beautiful, beach,
I'm just there for
nightlife,
jiu-jitsu, that's
food.
it.
No, I was very focused. No, I just want to improve my grappling skills. Exactly. But I was also introduced by the beautiful culture. So it was warming. It was heartwarming. Yeah.
That's like a very nice way to put it, like into, like, for example, like when you are focused on one thing, you just like go for it and neglect all the noise around it.
Yeah.
Like neglect, let's say, as you mentioned, let's say the beauty of the country and so on and so forth, like other reasons which people might, let's say, move over there just for it.
Yeah.
But like you moved in there like with one goal in mind. So you improved your grappling skills.
Yeah, so I decided I want to be, not disappointed again.
Mhm.
Choose Jiu-Jitsu, still challenging. And I just continued from there my journey in Jiu-Jitsu.
Like, how many times like did you compete after? Like, where did the competition life take you in Jiu-Jitsu? Like, because you told me that one of the reasons where you wanted to go into the Jiu-Jitsu world is for you to be able to control your competitions, for you to be in control rather than being controlled by the organization.
Yes, and also another thing is the entry level of competing in Jiu-Jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
Very important because it will take a longer time. For example, if you want to compete, I believe, in boxing or kickboxing, you will need to train more, and it's still a bit more organized. In Jiu-Jitsu, you have this tournaments. You can just register and you can start competing as a white belt. There are plenty of opportunities. So I find on a very low
entry level, you mean?
There's a very low entry level. You can just participate, and I wanted to compete, so this was perfect. This was what I wanted.
Yasmin, like, how did like the journey of Jiu-Jitsu in your perspective have changed your life? Like, how did it shape Yasmin, the Yasmin today? Do you think, like, if you took another journey in life, like, you would have been like different, or like, how did fitness and Jiu-Jitsu have made you now? Like, what role do they have in today's Yasmin?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So, first thing, Jiu-Jitsu really expanded my mind, my mindset. It was a very good medium for me to work on myself on so many aspects. Physically, mentally, socially, culturally.
Culturally.
Yes, because of Jiu-Jitsu, I started to travel. So not the other way around, like, I want to go to China and to
travel the
Africa.
world and see things.
No, I follow the competitions. I'm like, okay, these are the biggest competitions. It means I have to go to California, I have to go to Rio, I have to go to Sao Paulo, I have to go to Portugal, I have to go to Jordan. So this is how...
so they, let's say, shape the road that you have took, let's say.
Yes, and I got connected with so many different type of people. It gave me a very good opportunity to challenge myself on a physical and mental level and spiritual level. Because the thing is, in Jiu-Jitsu, you have your opponents. Now, the thing is, these opponents are your mirrors. You need your opponent to understand your level. You're not competing against your opponents. You're competing to improve yourself to the next level, but you need an opponent
to know where is the next level.
You're at. Exactly. And so and another thing, what is really good about Jiu-Jitsu is that your body, your mind, and your spirit all works all together. It's aligned. So yes, I have a lot of respect, of course, for many other disciplines, But let's say nowadays you're so focused on just sitting behind the computer and we neglect the physical part. So, and Jiu-Jitsu is called physical chess.
Physical chess. It's the first time that I know that. That's
really
nice.
Yes, it is a form of physical chess because you need to make a strategy. You need to think. You need to use your body at the right moment. It's with any type of sport, honestly. Many sports you could call actually a physical chess. You could say that also for tennis, for golf, any sport, because you need to be strategic in your decision making, and you need to be one with your body and your mindset. It will define how well you will perform. I'm not saying that there's not going to be like any fear, but despite the fear, despite the pressure, there's something bigger that you want to perform.
That's very nice. So you think after, let's say, adversities, let's say in life, or pressures, or sometimes risks, or let's say the demons in our heads, because like a lot of people usually have, let's say, these dreams, these things that they want to pursue, these goals that they want to achieve, but because like pressure and the fear and the demons in your head that keep on talking to you, like they stop. So do you think that on the other side, it's always rainbows? Like on the other side of pushing through things, like on the other side of pursuing your goal, like, do you think that we know what's best for us, or sometimes we chase things which life doesn't want us to get to?
So if it are always rainbows, that's impossible.
And like, I hope it is, but it's impossible.
Yeah. So just drawing from a personal experience, I had a very big dream. And at some point, I could not necessarily pursue that dream. There is also a book called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. Yeah, exactly. And there are also other books like The Talent Code. And the thing is, yes, your intrinsic motivation, your spirit, your motivation is crucial. Your vision and your desire to want something. But you also need to be maybe at the right place. You also maybe need to have the right coach, the right timing, maybe even like which month you were born. Like not perhaps maybe in my case, but the thing is, it would maybe have been easier if I would have been located back then in the USA. The championship.
Also,
because at some point, the IBJJF, the International Jiu-Jitsu Federation, moved to the United States. A lot of things were happening over there. Now, I'm from the Netherlands. So imagine, I have to travel to Brazil. Because, okay, I need to tell you something.
Go ahead.
When I started with Jiu-Jitsu, this was 2004. We didn't have yet any black belts. The highest level when I started with Jiu-Jitsu in the Netherlands was the blue belt.
Okay.
These were very different times. So for me, it was like, wow. Imagine if I would ever get my blue belt, right? You cannot even...
That's a dream. Like for you, that would be the dream. Yeah.
Exactly. So I decided to fly to Brazil to surround myself with the highest level. This would be the way for me to level up. So, okay, I go to Brazil, surround myself with the black belts, even though I'm a white belt, doesn't matter. This is how I'm going to improve. Okay, championship is moving now to, or the world championship, for example, is moving to the States. Okay, now I need to go to the States. Each time you need to get flights, for example, and I can say maybe for a maximum of 3 months in the States, and you know, money again.
Yes,
it's a limiting factor, right? Then or back then in my life.
It still is until now.
Yes. You need to have the means as well. So, okay, I could hustle for a bit.
Let's see where hustling would take me.
But at some point, It was 2008.
Mm-hmm.
2008 was when the economic crisis hit.
Yeah.
And I was a purple belt, and I had this dream. Now I want to pursue, I want to continue, I want to go for this athletic career. So I declared this to my parents, and they said, "Okay, if you want this," because jiu-jitsu was not. It was not a thing. It was not who knew this obscure sport, right?
Yeah.
So they were
for the parents, like the first thing on their mind would be like, how would you be able to support yourself in the future? How would you be able to, let's say?
They were concerned, of course. They're like, "What is this jiu-jitsu? What is that? Okay, if you want that, you're on your own." Also, my former boyfriend back then, he also was like, "Yeah, I don't just want to be with a sports girl because you have so much more in you." Okay, this was for me too much. I didn't have like enough financial means, and also without that support
from the family, friends, and relationship,
from boyfriend, that would not cut it. So actually, I decided to go back to university. I did finish my Bachelor of Applied Science, but in 2008, this particular Bachelor of Applied Science that I did, useless, because the entire of the Netherlands did this, which was communication science, applied science. So the first thing that they cut when there's a crisis, they cut communication, they cut marketing. And it was hard. I also had a gap, of course, in my CV. And I met also a bunch of PhD students, because my former boyfriend, actually, he was doing his PhD. And I got inspired by these students. I was like, oh, it's very interesting what they're doing. And let me actually go back to university. And I gave myself the gift to study at the University of Amsterdam and go for my master's degree. And that actually opened some doors for me.
What did you study for your master's?
Communication science. What is really nice about that experience, besides studying in the city of in the middle of the center of Amsterdam, is that actually this faculty gave me a negative study advice because I didn't have math at high school. So they said, yes, we have a very big statistics program that you will need to do before you can actually enter the master's program. So, which means I had to do the short track of a Bachelor of Science and do the material of 3 years of statistics in 1.5 years without having a math background. So I was like, okay. So I felt maybe slightly disencouraged. But I have a friend, and she was like, no, yes, you're smart enough. You can do it.
Go for it.
Go for it. Yeah. So I went to the professor who was teaching this subject, and he told me, just do your homework. So I was like, you know what I did? I just put my jiu-jitsu mindset into this subject. It was hard. I grappled with it. I just immersed myself in this subject of statistics, and boom, suddenly it started to click. Click, click, click. I was like, well, this is actually a language to help us. Because, in communication science, you have a lot of women, and you have these, people, they always say like, oh, women, they are bad in math and those kind of things, right?
Very true. I don't know why people have
so this starts to play with your mind, honestly. But I just crushed that belief. So I just did my homework even more because I put my discipline into it, and I had to do it. And I start to enjoy it because I start to understand the logic behind it. And then eventually, actually, I got the highest marks.
Oh.
Yes. And so what happens now in my life is that even though I didn't have the background in sports and in math, now for the second time, I have hard proof for myself, that if I put my mind into it,
I'm going to do it.
I will make it. So this is the best thing for your confidence. So it is possible. You just need to make the right decision. You need to be committed, and then you will see the results. That's it. The biggest issue nowadays is actually that we have too much options.
Very true.
Too many distractions. So there's so many opportunities, and you just get lost in these opportunities, in all these choices. And there's a very good TED talk actually about it, called the paradox of choice. And I cannot agree more with it, because if there's so many opportunities, when you're going to make that decision then? And how can you make then the commitment? Because they think, oh, maybe this, oh, maybe that. So you will never grow something.
Very true. Like, I mean, like a very simple example for what you're saying is if you went to, let's say, a supermarket, like if say you want to get peanut butter or whatever, like when you're going to stop in the aisle, you're going to see that there's a lot of options. Yeah. So you get lost. However, like you're going to see this, that, like, so, but if we had, like, let's say a more narrow choice, like maybe we would be directed in a much smoother line. But because we have nowadays like so much information going on in the internet, like everywhere we look, social media, everyone is trying to make it sound as if they know something. So you're like, what are the right informations? Like even about the same topic, for example, like what's a healthier choice to eat? Like nowadays, if you look on the internet, everyone is talking about so many different things: paleo, veganism, carnivore, like a lot of different diets. And everyone says that this is the best diet.
Absolutely.
So like, imagine someone who doesn't have the background, who doesn't have the knowledge, when they go and try to, let's say, get an information on how to, let's say, best live in a certain way, or what's the best food to eat to live healthy, they're going to see a lot of options.
Yeah.
So it's a very tough job to filter, like what suits us, like what is appropriate for us. And maybe this is what we have to do.
Yeah, and we get so far away again from our body and from our primal instincts. And the thing is, yeah, you have this ocean of information, but you know that your body is the one that produced the best data. You know, so if you eat the wrong things, you know, either you get bloated, you have your daily check in a toilet with your
Very
stool,
true, very true.
your skin,
yes,
your energy. So you just need to be attuned to your bodily data.
Yes.
And there you have the answer. What is the right diet
And
for you?
Listen to your body, because like you see people also, for example, like when I talk to people, some of them like swear heavily by, for example, that being vegan is the best thing that I've tried. And you're like, okay, then you come and try it. But hey, it's not working for me. Like, as you said, like sometimes you feel bloated, you feel like skin issues, rashes, whatever it is. But you try a different aspect, and hey, your body is responding well to it. So as you said, like listening to your body, like how am I reacting with things might be like a very good way to go. Like maybe start with the basics, then start adding bit by bit more and more, and see how your body reacts to it. Then accordingly, you're going to have a plan, let's say, in a sense.
Yeah. I myself, I experimented with all sorts of diets, vegan, carnivore, vegan. But
where are you now? Like, what is like your diet like nowadays?
Simple.
In what sense?
It is very balanced, I would say. So I just eat everything. I eat meat. Grass-fed, ideally.
Oh well, welcome to the club.
I eat carbs, so that can be rice, it can be sweet potato. I eat also vegetables. I eat.
Well, I am admitting I am eating.
Yeah. So, and fruits, you know, and then I have my daily chocolate. So it's
like all of that and the chocolate. Okay. Also one more chocolate.
Yes, exactly. No, but the thing is, for example, when I tried a little bit the carnivore diet, I was so hungry on it. Maybe I don't know if it was because I started to train more and I just should eat more. But I also experienced some gut issues.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And I really feel that with adding, for example, grated raw carrots and other vegetables, or, you know, having a higher increased fiber intake helps
in your the gut issues.
Yes,
Very
absolutely.
nice. Yeah, very nice.
So for me, of course, a good sleep, a good training, but vegetables do improve my gut health.
Like what you're saying is something, for example, like me and some of my friends, we usually talk about, because I have one of my friends, his name is Salah. He's like a very big advocate of the carnivore diet. Like he's a very strict meat eater. Like he doesn't even fruits, nothing with it, veggies or so. And he's able to operate well on it, like by not adding any sort of vegetables or fruits. However, on my side, I tried it. Like I tried being on a full meat diet with organs and so on. It was good to a certain extent until my energy level started to, let's say, plateau. So I had to add some honey. I had to add some fruits. And then I started to see the improvement in my training. I started seeing, let's say, the more energy, the more, let's say, this eagerness to do things. So maybe for you it works, maybe for others it doesn't. So people have to also pay attention to the signs.
No, I love my carbs in my diet.
I wanted to say it too, but I love my carbs too. Like, maybe $5 of honey on the top. So
I just love.
I can relate.
Though I do select carefully what kind of bread, for example, I eat. It will be a sourdough, no sugar added. There's a very nice bread actually that the Gibson's is selling. They have a good selection of bread.
All right.
Of sourdough
you
bread.
You can tell me about it after maybe I'm not watching.
Exactly. So, and I eat my rice, my fruits, and another thing. Eating is also something socially, cultural. Yeah. It's an experience, It is also something that connects people. So if I want to go to Italy, I don't want to feel like deprived by a certain type of diet that I'm following.
I don't want to be left out from the culture,
Yeah, so, I just want to enjoy my risotto.
The risotto, the pasta, the pizza, all of them.
Exactly. So I think we need to be flexible. If you are healthy, your body can work with different nutrients.
Very true.
Nutrients.
Very true.
So, yes, and I just believe in a balanced approach.
That's a very nice way to look at it, actually, because like being so aggressive in your approach for things might not be good on the long term, on the long run. Because, like, for example, if I now have someone who's asking for advice, if I came to them and I was like, hey, you're going to have to cut all of these and just eat this. For them, it's not going to be like, let's say, appropriate to on the long term, because they still have these old habits, these cravings, these things where they have to fit it in their life. Maybe they need to eat with their families, friends, and so on. So it's either they're going to be very aggressive or they're going to be left out. So a balanced approach, I think, is, as you're saying, is a very, very well, let's say, way to do things.
Yeah, I just make sure, that the majority of the nutrients that I consume, that they are organic, maybe grass-fed, no hormones, no antibiotics, most of the time. So I'm not gonna be too scared.
Yes.
For example, if I go to a restaurant and I order a cappuccino and it is not organic, no, it's fine, as long as it's not on my daily basis. And besides that, I don't drink daily coffee either.
You don't drink coffee at all? Do you drink?
No, I do, but not daily.
Not daily.
Yeah.
Do you see any difference in it? Because like, I noticed that sometimes like caffeine can make you anxious, can make you all over the place, and for some it doesn't.
Yeah. There's actually a specific gene variation as well that will say how well you actually deal with the caffeine.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, there's some people they're just not doing well, and also it depends how much stress you have in your life. Actually, a lot of things are so based on your personal circumstances. So it is very difficult to have a one diet that fits all the people, because we are all different. We all have a different genetic makeup. So then there's a difference between men and women. Yes, I said
Yes,
that.
I just said that. And don't cut it and don't edit it and keep it, please.
Yes.
This part I want it.
No, this is absolutely crucial. They're actually saying that, for example, for women, when they consume coffee in their luteal phase. So let me explain very quickly.
Go ahead, please.
For all the women who are in their reproductive years, they have a cycle, and you can divide it in the follicular phase and in the luteal phase.
Follicular and
yes,
what's
and the
the other
luteal phase.
luteal.
So the follicular phase is the first half of your cycle, and then after ovulation you enter the second part, the luteal phase. Now, what is happening after ovulation with the female body? It's that progesterone is now on the rise.
And the first phase?
No, it's the second half.
In the second half.
Estrogen starts to drop. Though there's going to be a little peak in the beginning as well, but not as strong as in the first half. And testosterone is a bit lower. And the thing is, also cortisol is a bit elevated. Body temperature is elevated. HRV in general is a little bit lower because the moment that the body temperature and also your BPM is up, HRV is going down.
Oh, the HRV, you mean the heart rate versatility, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so what does it mean? It means that the female body is more sensitive to stress. When you drink coffee in this period and you're experiencing some stress, then this can put like too much stress on the female body.
Thank you, yeah.
And it can affect actually your progesterone. So progesterone is your chill hormone, your feel good.
Feel good hormone, like I'm relaxed, I'm
yes,
chill
exactly.
kind of hormone, yeah.
But this is a very big topic. But the thing is, as society is developed in a certain way, especially due to the rise of feminism, and it put like a lot of stress on females. And
how so? Like, why does it put stress?
So it creates a lot of women. They are experiencing imbalances in their hormonal system. Why I'm saying that? That's your question?
Yes.
Okay. What happened with the rise of feminism, which is a good development, though I do think we need to edit it.
In what sense, please?
So, okay, we all got like these equal rights, equal entry to go to university, to get these amazing careers. But the point is, women start to do careers, still keep having babies, doing the household. And there is this sandwich generation for women, especially 30 plus, that are facing increased stress because they're taking care of the small ones. They're still doing the household. They're focusing on their career. Plus, they're taking care of their older parents. So now they just start to do much more than they ever did. And our energy levels didn't increase, right?
They are still the same.
We still have the same amount of energy.
The stone is getting heavier.
Yes, exactly. So what starts to happen is that you are burning the candle from both sides, or even actually from 3 sides. And this is impacting estrogen. This is impacting just your hormonal balance in general. And hence, women start to face a lot of issues with their cycle, with their fertility. And the thing is, your fertility, even if you don't want to make babies, is considered a 5th vital sign. Because think about it, all your cells in your body, they are either wired for survival or reproduction. So now, if there's too much stress, it's not going to be wired for any reproduction, and you will have, for example, also a drop in your progesterone. And what do you get then? PMS?
So the way I see it, like even our mentality, like our pressures in life, like affects our body heavily. Like this is the simplest way to put it, I think.
Yeah, and the thing is, women in general are twice as sensitive for the same amount of stress as men. Because in general, and I will say it again.
Say it. Okay.
I will say something.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it.
We are more sensitive. We are physically less strong than men. If we put you and me on the same training regime and sleeping routine and supplementation and nutrition, you will become stronger than me. It is biology.
Yes, very true.
Okay, and the thing is, how current society is developed is actually based on the male cycle, on a 24-hour cycle. But a female cycle, it is a monthly design. So every week, a woman is experiencing different hormonal levels. It's it fluctuates all the time. So the cycle is very crucial for a female's functioning, because when I'm, for example, in my ovulatory phase, when testosterone is high, when estrogen is high, like I'm now here to peak.
Yes.
But what about the 2 days before my period? Yes, in general, I should still be okay, but I'm gonna be on a different energy level. And if you are not respecting that, or if you're not aware, because a lot of women are not actually aware of their cycle, and I wasn't aware of it. I just got to learn it the moment I got off birth control. And birth control is another.
It's another, like I was like, okay, in my mind I was like, all right, so I think that's another door to open.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And birth control is actually not giving the opportunity to women to learn about their own inner compass. Because your cycle is your inner compass. If you don't know in which season you are, so let's say we divide the female cycle in 4 different seasons: winter, spring, summer, autumn. With the winter being your period. Now, let's say you're like, I want to do like some, I don't know, kick-ass meeting or PR in the gym, but you're on your period.
Like to peak in performance in some aspect of the life.
Yeah, exactly. Might not be in sync with your cycle. I'm not saying
that's very interesting. Okay.
Yes, because all your hormones are all-time low.
In the winter.
In the winter, when you're on your period, your body is going through certain changes.
Like, I mean, is it because it's in the winter season? Like, I mean, do the season that we are in affect?
Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Let me clarify. No, I'm actually referring each week of the female cycle to a season.
I see. I was like, all right, so how does I got your point. I got your point.
But I do agree that, okay, we are in the UAE, so we don't really have like those...
The seasons.
The strong seasons. Yes. But of course, seasons do impact humans as well.
Very true, yeah.
You know, and I also feel that when it's winter, we should literally sleep more.
Because the circadian rhythm, let's say we're going to have more night than day.
Yes, exactly. And we should not mess also with our clocks. Just follow nature, follow your cycle, follow your inner compass. You know, this is the thing. We humans, we think that we can just override all these systems, but it's just making a huge mess.
It's just like you're entering in a never-ending cycle.
Yes.
Because like you see a lot of people who always wake up on the clock, and they like wake up, feel lethargic, they take coffee, then they try to get a boost, then they get into the same cycle all over again. But the one thing that I noticed like helped me exponentially is sleeping without an alarm. Like I usually just sleep and let my body wake up whenever it's ready. Like, so when I wake up, it's ready. Okay, now let's go.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of people Especially in the UAE, you don't have that opportunity
Luxury,
if you're working for a boss.
Well, I do work for a boss, but I wake up so early.
Okay, maybe because it actually is aligned with
my lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's also, and the other aspect, it cuts like a big social part of my life because I have to sleep very early. Like usually like by 7, 8 p.m. I'm extremely sleepy.
Yeah.
Like I go to bed and like 3:30 to 4 and I'm awake.
Yeah.
So it aligns with my life, let's say, in a sense, but it might not align with some others.
Yeah, because some people, they're like night owls.
Mm.
You have different type of sleep animals, right?
Yes, very true.
Yeah, so the thing is, what we humans did is basically overwriting these systems. We were like, oh, let's mute the female cycle, and then just try to integrate it. Yeah. Rather than thinking like, oh, wait a second, these are women, and I'm not saying that men did this. This is like both men and women who did that. Also, not being aware of certain consequences. But now we are seeing the consequences. We need to also make the necessary changes. So the thing is, what we ought to do is that, oh, this is the power of women. This is the power of men. How can we actually create a synergy? And the thing is, we need to zoom out. We need to think the big picture. So what happens, for example, if a lot of women are now entering like the workforce? Are they able to actually do a really good job in motherhood? Are they actually fertile enough to make babies? Because what are we seeing right now? A huge decline. In both population.
And men, problems from men and women, like actually there are problems.
Exactly. It will reflect, for example, in relationship issues, because now, you're both like doing a lot of work at work, but also in the household.
Yes.
Everyone is tired. Everyone is getting moody, stress. So is this really the ideal way? But I don't think that our current society is necessarily designed for humans really to thrive
nowadays.
Yes, and this is because a lot of people just think about profit.
Very true.
We're not thinking about, is this good for humans? No, it's
is this going to make us more money?
Yeah, exactly. It's more about the money. It's not. So you have to understand the system, see if you eventually can get out of the system. Hopefully, creating a better system. We need, if we care about people, we need different systems.
You think we will be able to create better systems as individuals?
Well,
because when you look at it, as you said, it's like we're in a big cycle. And nowadays, let's say if you went to a doctor, the first thing they would do is treating the symptom. They would neglect the root cause of the problem. They would tell you that, hey, you have this, okay, go take this pill or whatever, you're going to be good. But do they really care of telling you, oh, for example, you have a low immunity, maybe you should get some more vitamin D, you should focus on your health, on food, training, whatever it is. No, they will be like, take this pill because it generates more money and it's more profit.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying like, okay, all doctors now, they are thinking...
Not all of you, just some.
Not all have, no, but they are actually themselves experiencing a lot of pressure.
Very true.
There's so much work. They themselves are not even have the opportunity to live a healthy lifestyle, not have the opportunity to update their knowledge. They're just super stressed and burnt out themselves. So there's actually a huge, I believe, epidemic under healthcare workers themselves of depression and burnouts.
Very true. And I honestly don't know, like, how can a change happen as on an individual level? Because for a normal person, when they, wherever they look, like wherever they look, they see a system pressuring them or oppressing them in a way of behavior. Like they want them to behave in a certain way. And if they try to get out of it, they're going to be like an outlaw. They're going to be an outcast, and they're going to be on the bad side of society, which is like something people have to. I think it's like one of the root cause of the problems of our society nowadays.
No, I think there are ways. For example, the good thing what we have right now, it is the availability of a lot of knowledge. You can start increasing your knowledge by listening to podcasts, reading books, finding your tribe with like-minded people. And here is where we start to create a movement. And this starts to become a community. And we need to find each other, right?
True.
And share our experiences. And I am hopeful that we have the power to do so.
That's very nice. I hope that people would have the motive and go look for the source, or look, how can we do it?
What is, of course, very important is that you need to know, like, okay, but what is the right, that you know how to discern what is a valid source, what is the right source, and how to read maybe research articles.
Because
just because a doctor said this or an article published this,
doesn't mean it's right.
It is valid in this reality. You don't know what kind of
study model they had, and the trial would,
exactly. So, and also just check your own data. So what we can see right now, what is a very beautiful development, it is personalized medicine. It is the rise of precision medicine, where we actually take a lot of individual factors into the equation, where we check, like, okay, what is actually my gut health saying? What is actually my DNA profile? You can start wearing CGMs or continuous glucose monitor, so you can get a lot of your own data. Based upon your own personal data, you can start to make your personal strategy to make the best health decisions. And we can see this a lot, for example, in the biohacking movement, where people tend to track their own data, and based upon their own data, they can make better informed decision. And also with the rise of AI, you see like a lot of these biotech companies, for example, combining several types of tests. Like, for example, you could combine maybe a gut health test together with the DNA test. And eventually, with the improvements that AI is able to make, they will be able to get better strategies based upon those data points.
Because we have, like, let's say, more specified data per person nowadays.
Yes, exactly. Because if you're going right now to the hospital, you get a generic
examination, or
exactly, a very generic treatment. And what you can see right now, actually, there is a term, it is called bikini medicine, I believe, where they were mentioning that, women are just small men. You know, just they didn't take into consideration that women are much different actually than men. So prior, for example, if the pharmaceutical industry was conducting research, they would do this mostly on a group of men, because they this hormonal cycle, it's very complex. So they actually excluded these women in the reproductive years. So maybe you would get postmenopausal women in this group and men, but you know, let's say they prescribe a certain type of medication. and they will put the same amount
for both men and women.
For both men and women, yeah, you will have very different effects because a woman, first of all, she's smaller, and then maybe her hormones will react differently on it, etc., etc., etc. But now we are entering the era of precision medicine, and besides the fact that we are making a difference between like men and women, we're also actually looking into the individual itself. Because you can have two women, they can be still like totally different, right?
Very true. Just as we discussed, like everyone have like a different reaction to food, which means like everyone has like different hormonal level, different gut microbiota, different organism inside, like in total.
Yeah. And then, some people, then even like personality, you know what I mean? Because let's say I am more neurotic and more stressy type of person, and you are more chill, you will have a very different level of maybe, I don't know, maybe a different HRV.
Different reaction to
a different metabolism, etc., etc.
Very true. That's really like nice way to put it, actually. Like, what advice would you give to people who are trying to live a healthier life? Like, where do they start? Because nowadays, as we said, information is everywhere. Like, how can someone start? Like, what's a good way to start to live a healthier life?
I think the two quickest ways, it would be sleep and exercise.
Okay.
These would be the major pillars.
I like that you put sleep number one, because I do think that sleeping is like a very important aspect of the equation.
Yes, absolutely. I always say like sleep is the foundation of life. This is where it all starts. This is where you can detox your brain, reset your hormonal levels, where you actually grow, where you rejuvenate. It is crucial for your energy levels. After a night of good sleep, it is gold.
It feels different.
It feels
different, yes.
But you know what? You need to know how to sleep. You actually need to be fit to sleep well.
I need to be fit to sleep well.
Yes.
Please explain.
If you how often actually do you hear like people they are having actually sleep issues? It is a science. It's an art.
Yeah.
It's not like you think like sleeping. It sounds like easy, right?
Like sleeping. How do you sleep? I close my eyes. That's it.
But you will be amazed that the majority of people actually are facing sleep issues. Because why?
Why? I don't know.
People, they are dysregulated. So, for example, simple things. No exposure to natural sunlight. And the quality of your sleep starts the moment you wake up. So the moment that you, for example, get your early morning sun exposure is where you give your body the right signs like, okay, one, it is morning, but it is also signaling to your hormones. You actually start to work on your serotonin, on your dopamine, on your melatonin, on all these internal processes within your body. You need to hydrate yourself after a night of sleep. If you are drinking coffee, you don't want to drink coffee after latest 1:30 p.m.
Yes, because it's have like I think a half cycle of like 12 hours. So
a very long cycle. Yeah, at least like 7 hours. So you actually want to move your body. Let's say you just sit the whole day. I don't think that is really improving your sleep quality, honestly. You know how well you sleep after a good workout?
Oh yeah, like maybe like I'm dead, I can't do anything.
No, but the thing is, like, we need to circulate our blood. We need to be exposed to sunlight. We need to drink well. We need to eat well. If you don't eat properly, for example, let's say I didn't eat enough. because sometimes this happens. And I just get, I wake up too early because I start to get hungry because I didn't eat enough. Cortisol starts to rise too early. So you need to have also enough fuel in your body to actually sleep.
What's the last time? Like, how many hours when is your last meal in a day? Like, when do you eat before you go to bed? Like, how many hours in between?
Look, I'm a human, so it depends.
So, like, maybe
but
half an hour, maybe.
Ideally, you want to have like a window of 2 to 3 hours to digest.
Yeah.
Because you need to bring your body in this restorative stage. And if your body is really working hard with digesting food, it is like pumping your blood, your BPM is up, you're not resting. Your body is actually working really hard. So you will see this in your sleep quality. The
other day I was reading this article. They were describing about how if you ate, let's say, a banana in the morning, your pancreas is going to secrete an amount of insulin different than if you ate it at night, which in other words means that even our organs have a circadian rhythm.
Yes, absolutely. This is beautiful. Definitely, if you eat during the day, it will have a different impact even on your blood sugar levels. Yes, it's true.
So this is why they usually say, like, try to eat the majority of your food within the sun availability through the day. Like, by the time the sun goes down, organs start to recover. They need some time to just regenerate and recover and relax.
We're part of nature.
Yes.
So it is crucial. So this would be my number one. Sleep and then exercise. Because exercise just regulates a lot in our brain and in our body. Our body is designed to move. Okay, so when you walk, when you run, when you lift, you get the good blood circulation, you create the right hormones to feel good. It is very beneficial for your mental health. Having muscle strength or muscle mass, it is the most powerful medicine you can give yourself. After sleep.
Like, first get sleep, then we can get the muscles.
Yes, absolutely. I live by it.
Do you regret any of your, let's say, past decisions, like until now? Like, do you have anything that you regret through life?
I would say no. Though of course, I made many mistakes. If you, the thing is, mistakes might be the wrong words in this context because these are learning opportunities.
Very true.
If you are open to it.
If you are open to,
they will turn into mistakes the moment you are not growing. If you're not learning from it, right? So it's the same what we say in Jiu Jitsu. It's like you don't fail. You don't lose. You always win. Either you win the gold medal for your excellent performance, or you gain a learning experience.
I like that. Yeah.
So it's the same with life. Actually, a lot of things like Jiu-Jitsu you could see as a microcosmos of life. It is full of like philosophy and life's wisdom. And the thing is, as a human, we are not robots. We need to learn through experience. And mistakes is a little bit of like a heavy word, but if it would not have been for those failures and mistakes, I would not have made that much growth either. So
in a sense, like, we grow through.
And this was my journey,
Yes.
So if it wasn't for that journey, I would not be who I am right now.
I see. So we grow through the decisions which we take in life, the mistakes, the achievements. We are just a mixture of decisions which we have took through life, and they shape who we are. Like, it's just like a diamond, and we're just shaping it with the circumstances and how do we react to it.
Yes, struggle, adversities, it's all part of life, and you this is how you learn resilience. And without that, let's say you have everything and you're born with everything, you know, you don't get the opportunity to learn or to work on your resilience, to get that warrior spirit. And human life, it's about survival and reproduction.
Yes.
So it's about the creation, but also how to face challenges. And it is also, it keeps it like interesting, right?
And without it, like sometimes
you
I
just
think
become
that
a softie.
yes, you're just gonna become like
I don't know if you will survive in this world.
Yes.
The world is not some kind of paradise.
Happy place. It is
yes,
not.
you know, you need to have the capacity to face reality.
Like, what do you say to the people who usually try to raise their kids and protecting them all the time? Like, they try to give them this picture of everything is good, you're protected, you're well off, anything. However, when they go out to the real world, they see that actually out there, no one cares about you. Yeah. Like, it's a jungle. Yeah. It's the survivor to the fittest. Yeah. But we are not prepared for this. Yeah. It's like, for example, if you have a domesticated cat at home and then suddenly you throw it in the jungle and you're like, hey, live with the lions and the tigers and you have to survive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You want to have a good shield, have good skills, through this volatile life full of these experiences. And I'm a mom, and you want the best gift that you can give to your child is that they become independent, step by step, not just throw them into the jungle, but you know, introducing them more and more about the reality, and open their bubble, expose them what life is about.
What advice would you give your kid? Like, advice which you think can help them through life, like can help her through life, can help Noura through life?
No, what I usually what is important is that she keeps her critical thinking skills. I think that is crucial. That yes, we are social animals, but we also need to understand what is our uniqueness, make peace with all of her, embrace all of her. So I just want her to feel fully all of her, and that she's able to express her boundaries, that she's capable. I want her to be balanced. So hence I try to expose her to different experiences, different activities. I'm not that jiu-jitsu mom that is saying like, no, you're just gonna jiu-jitsu.
No, it's a jiu-jitsu thing.
Only jiu-jitsu girl. No, she has been exposed to jiu-jitsu, and I think actually that every woman should know some basic jiu-jitsu. It's just part of your self-defense. It's very important. But yeah, for her to stay curious, to be kind. I think this is, if you know how to connect with people, this will be a very important skill for the future, especially with the rise of AI. Still, humans' creativity and connection skills, it will be very important. I think that will be very important.
Very true and very beautiful, actually. I like that. Yasmin, on a closing note, I usually ask the guest to come in, like a question, which is, are you happy in life? So Yasmin, are you happy in life nowadays?
At this moment, I am very content. Yes, I am in general. I'm happy, but it was a lot of hard work. And life has ups and downs. My 30s, especially, has been very challenging. Mm-hmm. But I would never want to have ever deleted that chapter, because this is where I made immense growth, and that prepared me so much for my 40s right now. And I'm very, very grateful for my journey.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for coming in, Yasmin. I really do appreciate your time today. Is there anything that you want to share before we close the episode for today?
I just want to thank you for having me, Reda. It was a very wonderful experience.
Thank you so much.
And I wish you the best of luck with the launch of.
Yes, it's going to be in January, and you're one of the early birds.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Yasmin. All the best for you. I wish you nothing but happiness for you and your daughter.
Shukran.
Thank you.
Thank you.